Stages, signs, and agonies of death in the dying hour. Stages of death. The stages of death. Natural death gradually begins with the death of the vital cells, organs and body systems, then the entire body stops working, and the signs of death according to the jurists are in the eyes, and it is one of the visible signs of death, for the saying of the prophet, may God's prayers and peace be upon him, the soul, if caught the sight followed it, in addition to the gurgling and reverberation of the soul in the throat, because of the words of God the Most High, if it had not reached the throat. Among the stages of death, the throes of death. The throes of death are among the stages of death that all creatures go through, but the creatures differ in the extent of their sense of these secrets, and these drunkennesses for the believer are an expiation for his sins, and an increase for him in his good deeds. And the prophet said about the believer's soul, it comes out and flows as it flows as for the infidel, his soul comes out with difficulty, according to the saying of the prophet. May God's prayers and peace be upon him, Signs of death. Signs of death. It was reported that what came from scholars in their books of the signs of death, and they were not mentioned in legal texts, but were mentioned by many scholars in their books from what they saw the following: weakness of strength from screaming, sound interruption, dumbness of the tongue, and a feeling of heaviness on the heart. The breath stops, the feet relax, the palms are separated, the nose tilts, the skin of the face is stretched, the temples fall, the body becomes cold, the body odor changes, and the dead may show some signs of agitation and fear, in addition to the stillness of the movement of the body, and the change in its color. Death throes in the dying hour. The throes of death in the hour of death, and in it the angels preach to the dying before his death. The angel of death comes with angels who help him in taking the soul when the person's death comes. The body. If the servant is a believer, the angels bring him good tidings, according to the saying of the prophet, may God's prayers and peace be upon him, Indeed, if the believing servant is cut off from this world and a coming from the hereafter, angels come down to him from heaven, both of them are as white as the sun, with both of them being both sides of the body, and the hypnotics of heaven, so that they are sipped from the tide of insight. Then the king of death comes until he is sitting with his head, and he says, oh, the good soul is left, and it will be removed from the time